Madlozi yakhuluma nawe.
Thokozani, Dimelang, Disedi. Hello everyone and welcome to the one-on-one sessions with Consultation. And I'm your host, Girl M, giving you guys tips, lessons, and teachings on everything spirituality. Okay, so for those of you guys who want to contact me for consultation bookings only, the number is on the top is 0655051216. Remember, this platform's for consultation bookings only. So if you have a question, please leave it on the comment section and I will try to answer your question. I know that in my previous videos there have been a lot of people who posted questions, and the notifications for those questions have not been popping up on my YouTube account, but I am trying to go through them and try to answer as many questions as I can, even though that like the questions are like a year old and stuff like that. But I will be putting some questions on my Q&A videos, and then I'll be answering them for everyone else to hear the answer, in case you might have a similar question when you're looking at my older videos. But the one thing that I would advise people is that if you have a question, try to put it on my earliest videos, because those are the notifications that pop up more than the older videos in a sense. Anywho, today I want to talk about the cause of forgetting dreams. Okay, because this is one of the major issues with a lot of people. Most people tend to forget their dreams a lot. And sometimes, yes, it is caused by spiritual attacks. There are other things, other factors that can affect your dreams and your visions, which can affect you from seeing and remembering them. You could see a dream, but when you wake up, you don't remember it, or you can completely black out and not see anything whatsoever. So I want to touch up on these things, and if maybe you're doing something here that I noted down here, feel like try your best to try and limit it, or try to change it as much as you possibly can, just so you can be able to remember your dreams. Because remember, dreams are very important for spiritual people, even people that are not spiritual. Dreams are important for every single person, because that is how most of our ancestors speak to us. Yes, there are other methods, just such as intuition and pretty much intuition, but dreams are like the major thing that actually guides us in terms of instructions and messages coming from our ancestors. So yeah, like I said, causes of forgetting dreams, what you may be doing that may be causing you to forget a lot of dreams in a sense. The first one is poor diet. Okay, so in my previous videos, I have a video, I think I posted it a year or 2 years ago, where I spoke about food that is actually essential for spiritually gifted people, and food that can actually block your spirit, that can block your sight, that can block your third eye in a sense. So as a person, or I'm just going to say as a spiritual person, it's very important for you to actually check the food that you're eating, check your diet, because sometimes there's some things that you're eating that are actually affecting your dreams so much, to a point where you actually start thinking, well, maybe it's a spiritual attack or something like that. You find yourself going to healers, getting a cleansing, and then after doing a cleansing, you actually start seeing your dreams, like remembering your dreams. But after a month or so, you go back to forgetting most of them, even though you're not in a lot of darkness. It can be because of some things that you're eating. And one of the things that I want to emphasize, when it comes to dreams, things that you must not eat are mainly, too much oil. Okay, meaning when you're cooking, try not to pour too much oil in your food, or if you're gonna pour oil in your food, try to use olive oil, because it's actually like really good for the spirit and whatnot, so it actually doesn't affect your spiritual side as much in terms of dreams and visions. And also, besides oil or cooking oil or whatnot, there's also food with too much carbohydrates, too much sugar. So your food needs to be balanced. Most of the times when you are initiating, you find out there are rules when you initiate. They're telling you, worry, you're not supposed to eat this and this and this and that. And most of the times when you're spiritually gifted and you're initiating, you find that you're given instructions to actually start eating brown bread, brown thingy waking you up, and actually you're not supposed to eat meat at all, because meat does affect your spiritual side. So in a way, the meat that you can eat is actually white meat, so like chicken, but do not eat too much of it, meaning you need to limit the meat that you are eating. Or if maybe you are actually the kind of person who's willing to actually abstain from meat do that, you can do that. Even though, not personally speaking, I'm a junk food fanatic, so that's why I actually force myself to do a lot of cleansings most of the time, as much as I possibly can, because I love meat, I love junk food and whatnot. So yeah, meat is something you try to limit. You can eat a lot of fish. Fish is actually good for the sight, so you can eat a lot of fish. It actually helps with your like visions and dreams, né? And also cold drink like Coca-Cola, for example, it's actually not good for the sight. So meaning what, as a person who's spiritually gifted, try to limit drinking it too much, right? The drink that I would prefer is Sprite, because in my experience it does not affect my dreams or visions whatsoever. So as a spiritual person, try to limit yourself from drinking too much juice and too much Coca-Cola, because it does affect your spiritual side a lot, né? So but like I said, the first thing is poor diet. Your diet does affect your dreams and your visions, né? So given the fact that I cannot go into details on what exactly you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, there is a video on food that is actually essential for your spiritual side, food that actually helps open your third eye and everything in your chakras. You can go and watch that video on like the list of videos that I have. I'll try to put a link on my description box for you guys to be able to go to that video a lot quicker, so it can assist you guys on the type of food that is good for your spiritual side, for your spiritual growth and whatnot, né? But with me saying all of this, it doesn't mean that you completely stop eating some of the things that are actually bad for you. You just need to limit them as much as you possibly can, né? But if you're a healer, you can find out, okay, you're eating them a lot, but as long as you're doing cleansings on a regular basis, cleansings and whatnot, then that will actually assist you in terms of actually taking out all the toxins from that food that may be affecting your sight and your visions, meaning you'll still be able to have dreams and remember them as much as possible. But if you're not in excess of cleansing herbs on a regular basis, then try to limit them as much as possible, né? Number 2, fluorine, né? Things that have too much fluorine are actually bad for your spiritual gift, meaning what fluorine actually affects your pineal gland, né? So one thing that I know is that in water, like tap water, there's a lot of fluorine in our water. So that actually affects our spiritual side a lot from a very young age, because water is life. We need it all the time and whatnot, né? And for some people, it could be that thing, you cannot get distilled water. You're not in excess of that on a regular basis, or it's too expensive and whatnot, because like paying 10 rands for a bottle of water is actually something that stingy people like me would never really do. So one thing that you can do in terms of water is for you to remove the fluorine, like remove some of the fluorine in the water that may be affecting your spiritual side and whatnot. You can boil the water, okay? Boil the water, and once it's boiled, let it cool off a bit and then drink that particular water, right? Or if not drinking the water, you can pour vinegar. Vinegar is actually good for actually removing certain toxins out of pretty much everything. So you can actually pour like half a teaspoon of vinegar in your water. That way the water's fluorine will be eliminated, hence you'll be able to drink water that will not affect your spiritual side coming from the tap and whatnot, right? Number 3, ancestral warfare. Okay, so this is actually one of the major causes, because you'd find what, as a spiritual person, I did mention the fact that you might find that you're spiritually gifted and you have multiple ancestors that are governing you and that are guiding you. And amongst your ancestors, you find that you have prophetic ancestors, and you also have divine born ancestors and also Mdawe ancestors. They're all scattered. There are different types of ancestors, né? So you might find that amongst all these ancestors, some of them are not getting along, né? Meaning maybe for example, the prophetic ancestors are not getting along with the traditional ancestors, né? So what happens in most occasions when that is the case is that you'll find that when you have dreams that are coming from your divine born ancestors, the prophetic ancestors tend to block them a lot, because they are not getting along. Meaning they want you to get visions or dreams coming from them, and vice versa in a sense, né? So your ancestors' warfare can actually affect your dreams and your visions. Meaning one thing that is very important is for you to try and get your ancestors to work together. So that is actually a difficult thing, because ancestors do tend to be stubborn now and then, né? But you can partner on a regular basis asking your ancestors to work together, and then there are also ceremonies that can be done to actually help your ancestors work together, né? But for people that actually went to initiation, let's say for example you went to initiation and you were doing both traditional things and prophetic things at the same time throughout your initiation, then you'll find that your ancestors are joined together. So it's not really likely for them to fight you if you have initiated for both the prophetic ancestors and the divine born ancestors, because they are joined by your kopela, né? But for those of you guys who have not initiated and you're very much aware of the fact that you have multiple spirits, understand that these spirits may affect your dreams and your visions, because they may be blocking each other from giving you instructions, because they all want to be dominant. They want you to appease them like individually. So the spiritual warfare in terms of ancestors is something that actually happens quite a lot. Okay, so try to find out the state at which your ancestors are and try to get them to work together so you can be able to remember every single dream coming from each and every ancestor. For example, maybe tonight the prophetic ancestors will come to you and speak to you, and the traditional ancestors will just chill in the back and wait for them to tell you everything that they want to tell you, and then the next day the others will come and tell you. That is how it's supposed to work. Or maybe, for example, they can all sit down and agree on what it is that they both want you to do, and they can all come to you and tell you what they want individually through your dreams and your visions and whatnot, and that will actually help you a lot in terms of your spiritual path, because there will be peace in your spiritual state. There will be peace amongst your ancestors, hence your dreams will not be affected at all by the ancestors' name. Number 4, having darkness. Okay, so this is actually a given. It's known by everyone. Whenever a person has darkness, it doesn't only affect their life in general, but it also affects dreams and visions and whatnot, right? So when you have darkness in your life, you will not be able to remember most of your dreams. You'll tend to forget most of your dreams and whatnot. And this darkness needs to be removed. Like I said in most of my videos, removing darkness is something you'll need to find a healer or a sangoma who will assist you in that particular task, okay? Number 5, waking up at the wrong times. Okay, so with certain people, like, it's different for everybody, yeah? So the ancestors tend to speak with people in their own time. You can actually look at when your ancestors speak to you. For example, me, né? I don't want to say this because everyone will know that I'm lazy, but for the purpose of these videos, try not to judge me, né? I wake up very late every morning. Okay, I literally wake up around 10 o'clock, and one of the reasons, don't judge me, okay, do not judge me, I have a good reason for doing that. So one of the reasons why I actually do this is because most of my dreams and my visions start from 5 o'clock up until 9 a.m. From 5 a.m. up until 9 a.m. So meaning what, in those particular times, I'm able to get the visions and the instructions that I need. And for that, I actually find myself sleeping later, like around 3 a.m. That is when I actually sleep most of the times, because other than that, I'll become restless until it gets to a point where my ancestors are ready to speak to me. For other people, get that thing out, they actually get dreams and visions during the day, meaning what, there's going to be a specific time during the day where they'll get very tired, very drowsy, and in those particular times is when the ancestors want to come and speak to them and give them guidance and give them dreams and visions that will actually be essential for them. So what I'm trying to say is that your sleeping time should actually correlate with the times at which your ancestors speak to you, because that is very important. Don't find yourself sleeping at the wrong times to a point where you're not going to be able to get the proper instructions and guidance and messages from your ancestors in those particular times. So these times that I spoke about are actually applicable to me and some other people. They're not applicable to everybody. So you as a person, as a spiritual person, you need to figure out when are the best times, around which times do you often have dreams and visions and instructions from your ancestors. You'll be able to figure out what those times are, because immediately after having a dream or a vision that the ancestors want to give you, then you will wake up immediately. So try to keep note of all those times and have a dream journal where you'll actually log in the times, log in the dreams as well, just so you're in sync with your ancestors and you understand how they operate in a sense. Number 6, being in the wrong environment and also being in a clustered room. Okay, so the environment is very much important. For example, as a spiritual person, now if I actually go to a certain environment that I don't feel secure, I don't feel safe, like the place just feels heavy spiritually, maybe the place is not protected or something like that, chances of me having dreams and visions are very slim. And even sometimes I'm actually restless because of the state or the energy that is in that particular place for me. So hence, that is why you'd find out a lot of healers cannot really sleep at other people's places and whatnot, because you might find that the energy in that particular place affects your dreams and your visions. So if maybe you are struggling to have dreams when you're at a specific place, maybe your friend's place or whatnot, it might be because of the fact that that particular place that you are in, the environment is not okay. The environment has a lot of darkness, and it's actually heavy on your soul and your spirit up to a point where you're not able to have dreams and visions. But let's say, for example, you are at home, and that for that particular night the place is very messy, your room is very messy. For that, you will not be able to have the proper dreams. You might actually have nightmares, more you're having spiritual attacks and whatnot, and not the dreams that you need to actually get guidance from your ancestors, simply because an untidy environment actually affects your ancestors from speaking to you and communicating with you, because on its own it attracts negative energy and entities, so try to be very tidy, especially before you sleep. Even if you don't want to clean up the whole house, it's fine, but as long as before you go to bed you make sure that your space is actually clean, your space is actually proper, then you will be able to have the dreams and the visions you need to get for that particular evening. Okay. Number 7 is sleeping positions. So I made a video about sleeping positions where I actually went into details about sleeping positions then. So there are certain sleeping positions where you will have dreams, but the dreams that you will have will actually be like bad ones, like nightmares and whatnot. You're going to experience a lot of sleeping, spiritual attacks from batagati, from your enemies, and also from entities in general. So your sleeping position is very important, because there are some directions where you will not be able to dream whatsoever. So with these sleeping positions, let me just break them down a bit. As for east, right? So east is actually a very good sleeping position, because it's a spiritual direction where the sunrise is actually a spiritual thingy, in a sense. You get what I mean, the spiritual direction. So when you're facing east, you are gonna have a lot of spiritual dreams then. But the issue with sleeping facing east is that you're going to be restless a lot, meaning until it gets to a point where your ancestors are ready to tell you something or guide you about something, you are gonna be extremely restless. And even when you wake up in the morning, you'll wake up extremely tired, because of the fact that it has a very strong spiritual thing to it. It's like where the poles are, in a sense. So you guys will get what I mean, because you'll see the other video. I'll also post on the comment section, on the description box, so you guys can be able to check that video out for more details. And other directions like north, for example, in terms of facing north, you'll find most of the times when you face north, you don't have any dreams or visions whatsoever. West, for example, west is a good sleeping position. That's where I face most of the times when I sleep, because I actually find that for me it works perfectly, because I'm able to have a lot of dreams and visions on that particular direction. And as for south, as for south, south, you can also have a lot of dreams and whatnot, but they're not as frequent as they should be. So meaning you can only have dreams once in a while when you're facing south. Okay, so those are things that you need to take note of whenever you're sleeping, whenever you're going to bed, as to whether the sleeping position that you have chosen is proper for you as a spiritual person, and will you be able to have the proper dreams that you need to get. Okay. Number 8, lack of communication with your ancestors. Okay, so here's the thing. When you speak with your ancestors on a regular basis, you are going to be able to bring them closer to you, and you are going to be able to have the dreams and the visions that you need guidance from them. So when you find that you're not speaking to them, for example, give yourself a test, for an entire week or 2 weeks or so, stop speaking to your ancestors, stop partying, stop praying, and try to see whether you're going to have dreams and visions like you did when you were actually speaking to them on a regular basis, because you're sort of like pushing them away. And once you push them away, then even the dreams and the visions that are coming from them to guide you, to protect you and whatnot, you're not going to be able to see and get them. Okay, so speak with your ancestors on a regular basis, and for that you'll be able to have the dreams and the visions that you need to get. Okay. Number 9, not connecting with your spirits. Okay, so speaking with your ancestors is one of an example, connecting with your spirit. But Lona, as a spiritual person, you need to learn to ground yourself. Grounding yourself is things like walking barefooted. Now that's the first one. Meditating on a regular basis, those kind of things, fasting, those are things that a person does to connect with their spiritual guides, their ancestors and whatnot. The more you do that, the more you'll be able to have so many vivid dreams, so many dreams that are just clear to you, and also like lucid dreams that you need to remember all the time. You're going to be able to have those kind of dreams. So it's important for you to actually give yourself a specific time, even if it's once a week at least. Try to meditate, try to fast, try to ground yourself as much as possible. And when you do that, then you'll see that your chakras are going to be open properly, and you'll be able to have dreams that you need to get. And even if you're a person who astral projects, your astral projection will be easier and a lot safer as compared to if you're not grounding yourself, because when you're grounding yourself, you're connected with your spirit properly to a point where whatever it is that happens in the dream realm, you will be able, in the spiritual realm, you will be able to go through it with your ancestors, with the guidance and with the protection of your ancestors, God, and your spiritual guides. Okay. Number 10 is spiritual blockages. Okay, so this is a given because I have made a couple of videos about blockages, spiritual blockages and whatnot. And one of the dreams that I did mention in those videos that when you're spiritually blocked, you're not going to remember your dreams. Okay, so I'm just going to emphasize it a little more. Blockages can come in different ways. You can get blocked from the things that you're eating. You can get blocked from people that are attacking. You can get, like, there are just so many things that can block. Even your ancestors can block you as a person, right? Depending on what you did wrong. Okay, so spiritual blockages can also affect you from having dreams and visions. So let's say, for example, you're doing all the things that I spoke about properly. You might find that the reason why you're not remembering your dreams and your visions is because of spiritual blockages. So spiritual blockages, they're not really, I'm not really going to say it's the same as cleansings, as being in darkness and needing cleansings. There are different methods as to removing spiritual blockages. So let's say, for example, you are spiritually blocked. There are going to be certain rituals that you're going to need to do to actually remove the blockages, so you can be able to remember every dream that you're getting from your ancestors and whatnot, right? Number 11, you are not fit. So one thing that I advise people do is to exercise. I feel bad actually advising you guys to do this because I'm too lazy. Like, I actually tried to exercise a little bit in the beginning of the day. I think it only lasted for a month, and after that I was like, this is not for me. Let me just go get my junk food, stay in bed, eat, and just watch a lot of like Chinese drama and whatnot. So that's my personal decision. But because I actually do a lot of things to actually help my spirit, help my ancestors come and speak to me on a regular basis, then it didn't really affect my things a lot then. But as a person, try to be as fit as you possibly can, however you can. No judgment from me. I am not the kind of person who can judge you, because we both know that, gosh, I've tried exercising, I've tried losing weight. Let's not get there, because that's a struggle like that I'm dealing with, and I'm just okay. But on to like what I was trying to say, being fit actually helps you a lot. For example, you can do like mini exercises on a regular basis, 30 minutes of your day. Being fit, when you're fit, you can actually help your spiritual veins be able to like work properly, hence you'll be able to have dreams and visions the way that you want to have them. Things like yoga, kundalini, those are the things that a person needs to do now and then, at least once a week. Do them, and by doing that alone, as much as it may not seem like it's a lot, it can actually help you a lot in terms of remembering your dreams and your visions. But one thing that I would advise a person is to try to not exhaust yourself too much, because this is you exercising so you can be able to have dreams and visions, so you can be fit enough to have dreams and visions and remember them properly. You're not trying to like muscle up and anything. Even if you want to do that, it's fine, but with those kind of exercises, you don't need to exhaust yourself, because the one thing a person shouldn't do is go to sleep extremely tired, because that can also affect your dreams a lot. Number 11, being too stressed out. Okay, so anxiety, depression, stress, those are things, okay, they are connected with your emotions. But one thing that you should know is that your emotions can affect every other thing. They can affect you mentally, they can affect you physically, and they can affect you spiritually. So as a person, try your best to like deal with the stress that you're going through. Whatever stress it is, whatever is causing it, or maybe before you go to sleep, if let's say, for example, it's the kind of depression or stress that cannot just go away like that, because these things are not completely in our control, right? So, but like what you can do is that before you go to sleep, you can try to like relax to a point where you're not gonna think too much about whatever it is that is stressing you. Okay, that way you might be able to remember most of your dreams. But these are things that a person needs to deal with. So do a lot of spiritual work, a lot of healing to actually help you with whatever depression or stress that you're going through. Okay, because we both know what I can actually come here and say some really beautiful words like, you're gonna get through this, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but those things don't really work. As a person, when you're going through certain things, that is a bridge that you need to go through for your own spiritual, mental, physical growth. And that is something you have to actually find a way to heal yourself with. Meaning what one person's healing process with depression, stress and whatnot is not the same as the next person's. So try to find yours so you can actually deal with this, so it does not affect your spiritual growth and your dreams at the end of the day. Okay. And the last one, which is number 12, is alcohol, drinking too much alcohol. I know someone out there is probably on some, go away, you want me to be alcohol free. Nah, you can drink as much as you want. But if you sit down and you notice, the minute that a person actually, or you as a person, actually decides to drink a lot, you are not going to have a lot of dreams in that particular evening. Or even if you do have dreams, you find yourself waking up in the morning and not remembering them. Okay? Because alcohol, not traditional alcohol, I'm not talking about mkomboti, but you know, the alcohol that we get from the store, those things, they do have chemicals. But apart from the chemicals that they do have, alcohol is something that actually affects you mentally for that particular point in time. You black out. You're not going to be yourself for a while. So meaning what? You're not going to be able to connect with your spirits in the manner that you need to connect with them. Okay? So try not to drink too much alcohol. At least try to limit it. If you're a person who gets drunk every single day, at least do it at least twice a week, nyana, and the other days connect with your spirits and try your best to speak to them and try your best to actually try and remember your dreams as much as possible. Anyways, that is it on things that may be causing you to forget your dreams. On our next videos, I'm gonna be giving you guys remedies, remedies that can actually help you with your dreams and your visions. These are just a few herbal tips that I'm gonna give you on the sides here and there, and other tips that I'm gonna give you guys on the side to actually help you remember your dreams and your visions in details. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a beautiful one. Thokozani. Bye bye.
Madlozi yakhuluma nami